All right, I've just been told that we are now live. It looks like we've got everybody here. So good morning, everybody. My name is Frankie Mitchell. I'm the clerk for this meeting, and welcome to this hearing for Cardamom Indian at 119 St James's Street, Brighton, Bravo November 2, 1 Tango Hotel. Could I please get the panel to, amongst themselves, elect a chair?
Could I nominate Julie, please?
Yeah.
Yep, I second that.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Cattell, you are the chair.
Thank you very much. Okay. Before we begin, I've got some. There are some procedural businesses. Procedural business, yes. Are there any declarations of substitutes today?
No.
No. Okay. And are there any declaration of interest or lobbying to any members of the panel?
No.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so there are no non-public items on this agenda, and therefore we will not be excluding the press and public for any items today. We are being webcast, so all is in open session. This is an application for a new premises licence at the Cardamom Restaurant, 119 St James's Street, Brighton. Before we begin, can I ask everybody present to please introduce themselves, starting with the panel. So, yes, I'm Councillor Julie Cattell. I'm Deputy Chair of the Licensing Committee.
Morning. I'm Councillor Ivan Lyons, West Dean and Hove Park Ward.
Yeah, I'm Councillor Paul Nan for Wish Ward.
Okay. Frankie's already introduced himself. I'll now move on to Rebecca.
Yeah, good morning. Rebecca Siddell, Legal Advisor to the panel.
Okie dokie. Corinne?
Hey, can you hear me now? Is that?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay, great. Hi, I'm Corinne Hardcastle. I'm the Licensing Officer who will be introducing the application today.
Donna?
Donna Linsdale. I'm making a representation on behalf of the licensing authority today.
Thank you. Mark?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm Mark Thorogood, Sussex Police Licensing, and with me is PC Andre Bernasconi.
Thank you. And I mustn't forget Sarah. Hello, Sarah. Where is she? She's still on mute. Okay, I'll move on to.
I am here. Sorry. Good morning.
Oh,
Sarah
sorry.
Lewis, local democracy reporter representing the majority of news media in Brighton and Hove.
Thank you very much. And I've got all it says on my. I'm guessing that this is the applicant and his representative coming up with a label meeting room 2.
Yes, good morning, Chair. My name is Nicholas Perkins. I'm the solicitor for the applicant, and the gentleman to my left is Mr. Islam, the applicant himself.
Okay, and finally we have Mr. Verez. Is that, if I can pronounce that correctly?
Yes. Yes, that's correct. My name is Mr. Verez, Saboch Verez. I'm the DPS holder. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you very much. Oh, excuse me, a bit of a cough this morning. Okay, now, could I ask everybody to mute themselves when they're not speaking? You can keep your camera on, or you can turn your camera off. It's up to you. But I think. But please, as I said, please mute yourself while everybody else, while representations are being given. So I'm now going to hand over to Corinne to introduce the application.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody. As we've heard, this application is for a new premises licence for Cardamom Restaurant at 119 St James's Street, Brighton. The application is for the supply of alcohol on the premises from 10 to 2300 and the same opening hours 7 days a week. By way of background, a premises licence was issued for these premises in January 2024, but this lapsed as the premises licence holder company was dissolved in June 2024. Following the lapse of the previous premises licence, in December 2024, an application was submitted for a new premises licence. A licensing panel hearing was held on the 3rd of February 2025, following representations made by the licensing team and Sussex Police. The licensing panel refused this application. There have been 2 representations to this current application from the police and the licensing authority. The representations received had concerns relating to the licensing objectives of the prevention of crime and disorder, the prevention of public nuisance and the protection of children from harm, and that the premises falls within the licensing authority's cumulative impact area, as defined in our statement of licensing policy. These representations can be found in Appendix C of today's agenda. The Statement of Licensing Policy was adopted to give greater power to control the number of licensed premises within the city centre. The special policy was set up because the licensing authority determined that the concentration of licensed premises and the subsequent numbers of people drawn into the city centre is causing exceptional problems of crime, disorder and public nuisance. The effect of the policy is that applications for new premises licences should normally be refused following relevant representations. This presumption of refusal can be rebutted by the applicant if they can show that their application will have no negative cumulative impact on the licensing objectives. The Statement of Licensing Policy also includes a matrix approach, which can be seen on pages 11 and 12 of today's agenda, for licensing decisions, with provisions for a terminal hour for all classes of licensed premises in a particular area. The matrix model recognises the diverse operation and different risks presented by different classes of licensed premises and provides a vision of what the licensing authority would like to see within its area and gives an indication of likelihood of success or otherwise to investors and local businesses making applications. Many thanks.
Thank you very much, Corinne. Any members of the panel wish to ask Corinne any questions for clarification? Any other parties wishing to ask for points of clarification? No? Okay, that's great. I'm now going to hand over to Mark to give his representations. Thank you. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, all. And please excuse me, I've got the lurgy as well, so I've got a bit of a cough going on. So if I suddenly stop to take some water. I found myself here in an unfamiliar situation in that we were here only just 4 months ago, considering a similar application by the applicant, which was refused. The main difference here is the proposal of an alternative designated premises supervisor. However, despite the new offering, Mr. Islam, the applicant, will still be the premises licence holder and in overall control of the premises. Within our correspondence, we include our representation from the previous one, as we feel the history of the premises is still very relevant to this application. I don't intend to go into it in full detail, as you would have had the opportunity to read it. I will just cover the issues off in bullet point form. In November 2022, the premises was found to be operating without a valid DPS. In December 2022, a new DPS was appointed. In August 23, the venue operated as a bar during that year's Pride Village party in clear breach of their licence permissions, additionally found to once again be operating without a valid DPS in place, as the one from December 22 had left. October 23, still no valid DPS in place and found to be conducting licensable activities. Additionally, the licence had been surrendered and Mr. Islam was advised to transfer it within 28 days, which he did not do so, so the licence lapsed. November 23, no application to transfer, so no licence in place. Inspection conducted and found to still be displaying drink menus with draft beer connected and alcohol stocked under the serving counter. In December 23, an application for a new licence was received and granted. In March 24, an inspection found the venue breaching several conditions, including trading beyond permitted hours, no CCTV or any staff training records. In December 24, a re-inspection still found to be in breach of CCTV, incident and training records. Was also established the premises licence holder had been dissolved, and as such, once again, trading without a valid licence in place. Mr. Islam was not even aware his own company had been dissolved. In December 24, a new application submitted and then refused at a hearing held on the 3rd of February 25, with the panel sharing the same view as us in that they had no confidence in the applicant, same applicant as we have here before us today. Focusing on the current application, we feel the offer of a new designated premises supervisor is not enough to move away from the history of this venue. Mr. Islam is still going to be the premises licence holder. During his time at the premises, ourselves, alongside the local authority, have assisted Mr. Islam as much as we can. He was advised he was at risk of losing his licence if he did not comply with the conditions within it. We have very much used a stepped approach when dealing with him and given him plenty of opportunity to show he can trade under his licence permissions, but he has failed in this several times. In your documents, you will see an email we received on the 8th of April 2025 from Mr. Perkins, the applicant's agent. Within this, it's proposed that a new DPS, Mr. Perez, will be employed as a part-time member of staff for a period to be agreed. The role of a designated premises supervisor should be by a person who has day-to-day responsibility of the business. What is the long-term plan when this period of employment ends? Will Mr. Islam be applying to be reinstated as the DPS? It has been suggested that Mr. Islam would undergo further training, possibly resitting the personal licence course. And since this email, I see from the documents submitted that he has now sat the course in May of this year. However, his personal licence was issued in October 23, with breaches of the premises under his control from that date onwards. He has evidence that even straight after training, he is unable to or have a wish to comply. This further training does not give the police the confidence it will change anything. It has been suggested that Mr. Perez has possibly run other venues in both Portsmouth and locally here in Brighton, including one at the same address as the application before you today, be it under a different operator. This has been checked with Portsmouth and they confirm he was the DPS for a venue for a period of just 11 months from April 2017 to March 2018. Regarding Sussex, we have no previous record from Mr. Perez until this application came in. The witness statement from Mr. Perez, he feels that we are being overcautious in our objection to this application. As the proposed DPS, it is concerning that he feels the history of our dealings with Mr. Islam and the vast number of breaches of conditions and at times even operating without a premises licence is not enough evidence for us to be cautious. Mr. Perez believes that Mr. Islam is committed to upholding the licensing objectives. This is something that's not been witnessed nor evidenced in our dealings with him. During our checks with Portsmouth City Council, who issued Mr. Perez's personal licence, it was highlighted to us that he had not updated his home address on his personal licence. We raised this in our representation and here today, as it is an offence not to follow this requirement, and failure to follow requirements is an ongoing pattern at this venue. Mr. Perez downplaying this in his statement, it does not instill confidence in us. Finally, Mr. Perez advises that he used to run La Casa Flamenca when he moved here 2 years ago. According to our system, La Casa Flamenca closed in January 2020. Mr. Perkins advised us that Mr. Perez moved here 5 years ago. Our files do not show that Mr. Perez was the DPS at the venue, even if he was here 5 years ago working there. In summary, we acknowledge Mr. Perez has possibly been working in several licensed venues, but we can only see that he's been a DPS for 11 months back in 2017. His time at La Casa Flamenca Brighton is questionable due to his timeline in his witness statement. If this licence is granted, the proposal is for the DPS to be part-time for an unknown period. There is some confusion over aspects of the witness statement and failing to follow requirements regarding the personal licences. Mr. Islam will still very much be involved in the operation as the premises licence holder. The previous panel acknowledged the area of St James's Street at times being challenging due to relatively high crimes of crime and disorder. This situation has not changed. We need to be confident that any licensed venue in any area of the city, but especially in this location, is being run robustly. And unfortunately, under this new proposal, we don't have confidence it will be. Alongside colleagues from Brighton Hove City Council licensing, we have offered Mr. Islam so much support over his time of running the venue, yet to no avail. There comes a point where we have to say enough is enough. If this licence isn't granted, it will result in even more of our stretched resource time being spent ensuring compliance. When there are hundreds of other licensed venues within the city, time that could be better utilised. It's for this reason we kindly ask the panel to seriously consider refusing the application. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Ivan, would you like to ask any questions of Mark?
Thank you, Chair. So, Mark, what would give you confidence for giving the acceptance for licensing? So, you've given the history. We've heard about the applicant obviously going on a course, a part-time DPS. What measures would you like to see in place before consideration to be given from the police aspect? Thank you.
Because of our dealings with Mr. Islam over an awful long period of time, there isn't anything, to be honest with you. If Mr. Islam put in an application for anywhere within the city, it would be highly likely that we would bring it before a panel because of our history with dealing with him.
Thank you.
Thank you. Paul?
I was probably going to ask the same question as Ivan. So, no, I've got no questions to add to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I haven't any questions either. Does any other parties have any questions? No, Donna, no.
If I may, Chair.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Mark, good morning. You say that Mr. Veres being there 4 or 5 or 6 nights a week, depending, certainly at weekends at the moment, would be part-time. Do you expect a DPS to be at premises 7 days a week?
No, we acknowledge that they can't be there every single minute of the opening hours. But the thing is, we've got one thing in the witness statement and then another thing in the email that you sent us. So, you know, there's just confusion. And also it does mention as well that going forwards in the witness statement that Mr. Perez would then look to reduce those amount of time that he spends at the venue.
If he's confident that, as we said, if he's confident that things are operating correctly. Thank you. You make much of the fact that Mr. Perez forgot to change his address when he came to Brighton. And that's we acknowledge that that is an offence. How many prosecutions have there been for such an offence in Brighton in the last 12 months?
As far as I'm aware, there's been none. We haven't actually followed any through. But what I'm evidencing is in the past history of this premises, it has been the lack of being able to follow things that you're supposed to be doing. And we now have a proposed DPS who is evidencing the same kind of thing by not updating their personal licence records.
But Mark, the point is that, isn't it, that you're raising this now, but it's not an issue for the police because there have been no prosecutions.
No, and every time we find this, we do make the person aware that they do need to ensure that their licence records are updated with the council that it's been issued with. So whenever we find this out, we don't just turn a blind eye to it and ignore it. We raise it with the individual and let them know that they have to update it.
Right, thank you. No further questions, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Veres, I'm sorry, I can't properly pronounce your first name, so I'm referring to you as Mr. Veres. I'm sorry about that. I don't want to offend you by saying it wrong.
That's all right.
Okay. Do you have any questions of Mark?
I don't. I just literally want to point it out that I have not updated my my address because of not something that I intentionally wanted to do. It's just I didn't think at the time that it was necessary, and it was just a pure mistake from my part. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So that's all the with Mark. Thank you very much. Now go on to Donna's the evidence statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. You've seen my representation on behalf of the Council's licensed team in their capacity as a responsible authority in relation to an application for new premises licence for Cardamom Restaurant. A copy of this representation can be seen on pages 29 and 31 of today's agenda. This representation has been made as the licensed team have concerns that the application could have a negative impact on the licence objectives of the prevention of crime and disorder, prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. I also refer to the special policy of community impact contained within the Council statement of licensing policy. This premises falls within the licence authority's impact area, which was adopted to give greater power to the controlled numbered licensed premises within a city. The policy was also introduced because the licence authority determined that the concentration of licensed premises and the subsequent number of people drawn into the city centre is causing exceptional problems of crime, disorder and public nuisance. The effect of the special policy is that applications for new premises licence, which are likely to add to the existing community impact, will be refused following relevant representations. The applicant can rebut this presumption of refusal if they can show that their application will have no negative impact on the licence objectives, including the prevention of crime, disorder and public nuisance. On the 2nd of October 2023, I emailed Mr Islam regarding an invalid application and the surrender DPS application and the surrender of the premises licence by the premises licence holder. On 24th of October, after receiving no response from Mr Islam, a follow-up email was sent advising that the premises licence had now lapsed. On the 14th of December 23, a new application was submitted by a licensed consultant on behalf of Mr Islam. A new premises licence was issued on the 12th of January 24. Following grant of the new licence, I provided Mr Islam with Challenge 25 posters, training book, noise notice, incident reviews log and licensing risk assessment book. On the 26th of March 24, accompanied by police licensing, I carried out a full licence inspection. At the time of this visit, Mr Islam still had all the documentation I had provided within an envelope unopened. There was no CCTV. On the 4th of April 2024, I emailed Mr Islam details of the breaches found. On the 4th of December, a follow-up licence inspection was carried out. A further email was sent detailing the breaches found. These breaches included the documentation was still not used and the CCTV Mr Islam had installed was battery operated. We were unable to check if the CCTV was storing, as the cameras had not been charged and not working. Following this visit, it was also noted that the premises licence holder company had dissolved on Company's House. Therefore, the premises had lapsed. A letter advising Mr Islam of this was hand-delivered by Sussex Police on 6th of December 24. On the 6th of December 24, a third application was submitted to apply for a premises licence by the agent, an applicant. A licensing panel hearing was held on the 3rd of February, following the representations made by the licensing team and Sussex Police. The licensing panel refused this application. On the 14th of February 25, I visited the premises to ensure that no alcohol was on display. Although no alcohol was displayed, they still had menus advertising alcohol on the counter of the premises. I requested these were removed. On looking at the application form, particularly section 16, licence objectives, the applicant has acknowledged that the premises would be located within the CIZ area and offered conditions within the operator schedule. However, the previous application submitted in December 23 also offers conditions, and these were never complied with. Although this application is not against policy, the policy does talk about a venue being well managed, would need to be exceptional reason to depart from the policy, evidencing the local authority's expectations that all venues are expected to operate in a responsible way and promote the licence objectives, something this application has not evidenced during their time of ownership of the restaurant. Prior to the current application being submitted, I received a telephone call from Mr Islam asking if I could assist in applying for a new licence or recommend somebody who could help. Mr Islam stated that he believed the reason the last application was refused was because the committee did not like his legal representative. This clarifies that Mr. Islam is not taking any responsibility for the previous issues, breaches and poor running of the premises. Despite providing Mr. Islam with all the documentation and assistance to comply with the previous premises licence, he continues to breach the conditions. I do not have any confidence, Mr. Islam. It's in my opinion that if this application is granted, Mr. Islam will ignore any conditions attached and will continue to breach them. So I therefore invite the panel to refuse this application.
Thank you very much, Thank you very much, Donna. Paul, would you like to ask Donna any questions?
No, that was all quite clear. Thanks, Donna.
Thank you, Ivan.
No, likewise, it was clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Nick, would you like to ask anything?
I've got no questions, ma'am.
Okay. Mark?
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, everybody. We've only been going for about half an hour, so I'm not sure whether we want a break. Really, is everybody okay to move on? Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. So I will now ask Nick to make representations on behalf of his client, and if necessary, you can bring Mr. Veres in as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. This is, yes, I have to admit, a further application in respect of this small restaurant. Put it in context, the premises have some 20 to 28 covers. So these are not large, challenging premises. Reference has been made to the application being within the CIZ, the application premises being within the CIZ. I would make the obvious point that these are existing premises, and if this license is granted, it will not be adding to the status quo in terms of the number of premises. The premises were acquired by my client in 2023, and this is the first time that he had held a premises license, although he's been involved in the restaurant trade for some 10 to 15 years, albeit the large part of that was in the kitchen side of things. In terms of the application, I'd make the point that the application as presented does comply with the matrix that appears in your policy. This is the first time Mr. Islam had owned his own premises. It's his first venture, and all his assets, as I say, are tied up in these premises. He openly admits that there have been failures in the past. These, he says, and they are his own failures, due to being overworked. He basically runs the front of the premises himself, alone, with a little help from his wife from time to time, and his inexperience in administrative matters. Much is made of the various breaches, but I have to say that the breaches arise, as I say, from a misunderstanding of administrative matters, as I'll discuss. The fact that he may have difficulties with such things does not mean that he doesn't understand his responsibilities. He's simply overstretched. Here is a man who has been without alcohol sales for these premises for the last 7 months. That, you will understand, is a very substantial financial loss to him. Now, I appreciate the financial aspects are not a part of your decision-making process, but you need to look at this in context. He's also, apart from that financial loss, having to pay my not inconsiderable fees. Mr. Islam appreciates that if this application is granted and he fails again, there will be no second chance for him, and he will be financially ruined. With regard to the various representations that are made, Mr. Islam didn't understand the impact of the previous premises license holder surrendering the license. He had understood that with his acquisition of the premises that the license was going to be transferred to him. Again, it's a failure, but it's an explainable failure. As to the CCTV, it is agreed that he put in this system, the system that he could afford, which was battery operated. And on the day in question of the visit, he hadn't got round to actually recharging it. The important thing is there is no evidence that once he was aware that there was no premises license, that he has been selling alcohol. Much is made of the previous license set up amounting to a breach of the planning laws. Now, we all appreciate that planning is not a licensing issue, but you'll have noted that the application in terms of the matrix closing at 11 does now comply with the planning permission, and it is for on sales only with restaurant conditions. Again, the company being struck off is an administrative issue that Mr. Islam didn't understand. It follows a misunderstanding of company law. This is something that I think we will all appreciate happens all too frequently when premises licenses are held by companies. The point needs to be made that although there have been administrative breaches, there have been no major breaches of licensing law. For example, there's been no evidence, and there has been no underage sales, something that you as the committee take so seriously. Despite what the police say, if this application were granted, it will be a new chapter for the premises. Mr. Beres, who, as you know, is joining us from abroad, is an experienced licence holder. There has been no issue in terms of when he's either been a DPS or when he's been the manager of premises of anything untoward happening in those premises whilst under his control. The fact is that he is a licence holder. He's agreed to be the DPS and supervise the sale of alcohol because he has faith and confidence in Mr. Islam. As Mark has acknowledged, no DPS can be there 24 hours a day, and Mr. Beres cannot be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but he will be there consistent with what is required in the same way as any other DPS. He is there to ensure that the conditions are complied with and the licensing objectives upheld. You need to look at this proposal in terms of the risk that Mr. Beres is prepared to assume. He leaves himself open in a situation where he has little personal interest to prosecution if there are further breaches. He's candidly said that he forgot to change the address on his premises licence when he came to Brighton. I say, and the police try to make much of this, the words bricks from straw come to mind, that this is an infringement, but it's a minor infringement, evidenced by the fact that there have been no prosecutions, according to Mark, in the last 12 months for this. And this seems to be the only criticism that really the police can level at Mr. Beres. With Mr. Beres in place as the DPS, this will establish the status quo for the time being. He will be there monitoring the operation of the premises licence to ensure, and he's confident that it will be, that the conditions are adhered to going forward. Nothing will last forever. Mr. Beres eventually will say, enough is enough, I need to move on. We will have to look at the situation as it exists then. If the premises are well run, hopefully the police's confidence will be to some extent restored. It much depends on whether Mr. Islam then feels confident enough to apply to be the DPS himself, or whether he would be recruiting another DPS to assist him. The fact is that we, as I say, we need to look at the situation at that point, and that the police will have the opportunity to object to the new DPS and or seek review, heaven forfend, if things are not operating correctly. As I say, this is a new beginning, a new proposal. with an experienced independent DPS in place to ensure that the conditions are complied with and the premises operate correctly. That being so, Chair, I invite you to grant this application. As I say, we have a proper proposal to ensure that the conditions are complied with, and Mr. Islam is only too painfully aware of the consequences for him if there are further breaches. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nick. I see that Paul's got his hand up. Let's do it, yeah. Go ahead,
Thanks,
Paul.
Chair. Nick, can I please summarise and then ask a question based on that summary if it's correct? Mr. Islam made an application previous to this application. It was rejected, and part of the reason for rejection, if I recall correctly, was our lack of faith in Mr. Islam's ability to run his business in a way that met the kind of concerns of licensing and the police. So Mr. Islam has returned with Mr. Veres, and the role of Mr. Veres in this is to reassure us that there will be a person there on the premises who will, take act to allay those concerns that have been expressed in the past. Is that a correct summary of the situation?
Yes, yes, Councillor. We acknowledge that the previous application was Mr. Islam seeking to be all things to all, in that he was a premises license holder, a premises license applicant, and also the proposed DPS. We distinguished this application because we bring in an independent DPS.
Cool. So as Mr. Veres's role is to reassure us that there will be someone there that will allay our concerns, can I ask, has Mr. Veres got agreed a contract with Mr. Islam that outlines what hours he will work, how long he will work for Mr. Islam for, or is this just a loose agreement between the two gentlemen at the moment?
Councillor, I think it depends what you mean by a loose agreement. They have reached an agreement, as I understand it, including remuneration, and at the moment it would be reviewed in 6 months' time.
But has Mr. Islam, has Mr. Veres signed a contract to say that he will work for Mr. Islam?
I don't believe there's a written contract in place, is there?
So it's just an agreement at the moment,
Well,
and an agreement which could be reversed out of.
Well, any agreement with respect, any agreement, whether it's oral or on paper, only works as long as both parties want it to.
But
now,
so working hours
if Mr. Veres decides that he, after
I guess for my own reassurance, I'd just like to know what level of detail has been agreed. So has a term of the contract that they'll work with each other been agreed? Have working hours been agreed? Have wages been agreed? Or is it at this point just the discussion that the two men have had?
Perhaps Mr. Veres can help us with that.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you.
Hi. So we haven't had a written contract, but in terms of the hours, the compensation, my exact involvement, and how the business will move forward has been agreed. I can confirm that, yes.
In writing, or just agreed?
Not in writing, in just between us, yes.
Okay. Could I ask Rebecca a quick question just before I leave this point alone? Hi, Rebecca.
Yes, I don't know on the. Yeah.
Just Rebecca, it would be way beyond the scope of a licensing panel to condition the terms of a contract between two people, wouldn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, Mr. Veres has said he will be the DPS. I don't. You could ask him again. We could clarify with Mr. Veres exactly what hours he'll be working, or how much he envisages being at the premises, maybe.
But we couldn't condition it, could we? It would be outside of our.
What what condition? How long he spends at the premises?
There's absolutely no way that we could insert ourselves into contract negotiations between Mr. Veres and Mr. Islam. We just.
Oh no, I think that would be.
Okay, cool. I suspected that.
You can ask the questions about what his involvement will be.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Ivan.
Thanks, Chair. I was going to go down a similar route to Paul. Just to add a few additional points. The relationship between Mr. Veres and Mr. Islam, can that be confirmed? Is there any vested interest in the business or any relationship between the two of them, or family relationship? Mr. Veres, second question. Also, I understand you're now living in Brighton. Perhaps can you give a fuller picture? Have you bought a premises in Brighton, or are you renting, or I just want to. We need reassurance that if you're that you will be and at the venue on a regular basis. And yeah, if we can start off with those 2 points first of all.
Absolutely. So I'm I'm currently renting in Brighton, so I haven't bought my living, and I am not. I'm working from home. I run my investment self-employed soon-to-be company, and that's pretty much I'm doing at the moment, which allows me to be flexible with my time, which can include lunchtime and evening as well. And mostly it will be about afternoon to evening, daytime and weekends as well, which we agreed with Mr. Islam, where I can be much of a help running and supervising his business. Okay.
And do you have any interest in the business at all?
Currently, we have not spoken anything about that, but we will see in the future, of course.
Okay, thank you. And if one further question, if I may, can you just give us some further background about your past experiences as a DPS, what you've done, where you've done it, the venues?
Absolutely. So I was working in hospitality since 2011, which started off as a waiter, then assistant manager, company director, then eventually running my own business. So I have tremendous experience about supervising, about everything, about hospitality, customer service. So I can assure you that I know what it needs to be done and I can do that.
And was that in Portsmouth or elsewhere?
That was in Brighton as well. So the first time it was in for 7 years. I was working with Mr. Islam down in Brighton Marina. It was called Brasserie Fish and Grill. It was a fish and grill restaurant. So we used to work together. He was in the kitchen and I was running the place. And then I moved to Port Solent in Portsmouth to join. I bought my shares of the company with the similar kind of a business, which I was running it, and Mr. Islam was helping us back. So we were always been friends, and we were colleagues working in the same venues for multiple years.
It's lovely, thanks. No further questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions, Paul? I have no questions at the moment. Mark, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I just want to pick up on that last point because there's now a bit further confusion with Mr. Veres, because in his statement, he says he moved to Brighton 2 years ago. Mr. Perkins says it was 5 years ago. He's now just told us that he was working at Brasserie Fish and Grill 7 years ago in Brighton Marina. But then in the statement, he says the Brasserie Fish and Grill was at Port Solent in Portsmouth. So just confused. Can we just clarify that situation, please?
Yes, absolutely. So the first Brasserie Fish and Grill was in Brighton Marina. Then we opened up a second branch in Port Solent. So I was working until 2016 in Brighton Marina. Then I moved to Portsmouth until 2018 February. So I was living in Portsmouth until that time when I moved back to Brighton and was doing La Casa Flamenca, which was exactly the same place where Mr. Islam is operating currently.
So sorry, when did you move back to Portsmouth?
From Portsmouth, you mean?
To Portsmouth. Did you say February 18 just now?
No, to Portsmouth. I moved to Portsmouth in 2016 August.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions of Nick? Mark? No, he's gone now. Okay. Okay, now, where are we? Donna, is there anything you'd like to ask?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we will now, I suppose it's now, oh, Rebecca, sorry, yeah.
Well, through you, Chair, I just wondered whether the panel might want to hear from Mr. Islam at all about, you know, how he can maybe give you confidence going forward. I don't know. I think he's there. Do you? I mean, that's
yes,
up to you.
yeah.
But
well, it would. I mean, yeah, that would be happy to. Nick, would you like to invite Mr. Islam to make?
Well, Chair, I mean, by all means. I don't know that Mr. Islam really can really add anything to what I've said. Is there anything further you want to say, Mr. Islam? Yeah, he doesn't feel he can add anything. Thank you.
And that's great. Thank you very much. So now we are looking for summaries. Does have you got a summary, Nick, ready?
sorry, through you, Chair.
Yeah.
It'll be Corinne going first with the summaries, and then the applicant usually has the last word. Actually,
yeah, I was just asking just trying to find out whether we needed to take time for preparation.
No, well, I'm Chair. I'm content to proceed.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Chair, I'm saying that I'm content to proceed.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So first of all, Corinne, would you like to summarise?
Thank you, Chair. This is an application for a new premises licence for Cardamom Restaurant at 119 St James's Street, Brighton. You have now heard from all the parties present and seen all the paperwork. Licensing guidance states that in determining the application with a view to promoting the licensing objectives in the overall interest of the local community, the licensing authority must give appropriate weight to the steps that are appropriate to promote the licensing objectives, the representations, including supporting information presented by all the parties, the licensing guidance, and its own statement of licensing policy. The licensing authority must carry out its functions with a view to promoting the licensing objectives, and our policy is framed around those objectives. It is important to note that each application will be given individual consideration on its own merits. After considering all the relevant issues, the licensing authority may grant the application subject to such conditions that are consistent with the operating schedule and or have been canvassed during the hearing. If the panel decide to grant the application, then any conditions added to the licence to meet the licensing objectives should be clear, precise and enforceable. Alternatively, the licensing authority may refuse the application on the grounds that it is appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives and contrary to the statement of licensing policy. Many thanks.
Thank you very much, Corinne. Mark, would you like to give your summary, please?
Thank you, Chair. We've raised our concerns around a history of non-compliance and the new proposed DPS. We have spent a long time already trying to assist Mr. Islam in adhering to the previous premise licences he has held, but with no success. Mr. Perkins himself states this is a small and not a challenging premises, yet we have seen breaches of licence conditions, trading without a valid DPS, even trading without a premises licence in place. Due to our dealings since November 2022 with the venue, we have lost confidence with the operator, and we don't feel it's justifiable to dedicate even more of our time and resources when there are so many more licensed venues within the city. They have shown no previous intention to adhere to the licensing objectives and following requirements under the Licensing Act. We kindly ask that the panel refuse this application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nick, would you like to give your summary now, please?
I'm just wondering whether Donna has anything to say.
Donna, sorry, Donna.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, unfortunately, taking into consideration all the previous interactions, experiences and breaches by Mr. Islam, I still not have any confidence that if an application is granted, any conditions will be complied with. So I still invite you to refuse the application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Nick.
Thank you, Chair. In considering this application, you should look at this whole situation afresh. Mr. Islam has candidly admitted his failings, but that doesn't mean he shouldn't be given a further opportunity. The proposal before you now is new, different, and you can have confidence in it on the basis that Mr. Verres is prepared to be the DPS. He's prepared to take the risk. He has the confidence that going forward, these premises will operate correctly. And that being so, I invite you to grant the application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we're nearly conclusion of the hearing. Rebecca, is there anything you would like to add?
I don't think so. If you've asked all the questions, canvassed any conditions if you were minded to grant the application, and do you have any questions of me?
No, I think we're ready to move back into the. Oh, sorry, Ivan, go ahead.
Yeah, could I just ask one further question? Just catching up from what Rebecca was just mentioning. So in terms of the license application, you're asking for a license from 10 in the morning to 11 at night. Would the applicant consider a reduced licensing opening hours for a trial period?
Is that something that we can do under our jurisdiction?
Trial periods as such don't really have any sort of basis. It is open to you to reduce hours, but then the premises would have to apply to vary that again if maybe the
or perhaps a reduced hours and then come back in 6 months' time.
Well, maybe invite the applicants to make comment on that.
Yeah. Could the applicant respond to that?
We're an open book, councillor. I mean, we would be prepared to consider any proposal, but respectfully, until we know what the proposal might be, we can't really comment. I mean, Rebecca, you understand the difficulty that puts us in. I mean, if you wanted to grant it with reduced hours, that's something you could do.
Yeah, I think Mark Thorogood wants to comment as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, as far as the police are concerned, reduced hours wouldn't really change our stance. At the end of the day, this is about adhering to conditions on a licence and being able to do things correctly. So I don't think it really matters what time of the day the premises is actually opening.
Thank you.
So that would have been, Chair, that would have been my submission as well.
Okay. Right. Well, I think unless anybody else has got any other questions or comments that they wish to make, I think we can now call this to a close, and we will go into our closed session to deliberate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.